Good morning, church family. This is Pastor Linda bringing you this Friday's pastoral care message. We know that in the midst of the pandemic and in the midst of everything and being locked down, many of us are facing feelings of being overwhelmed. Many of you are in places where you've never been before, facing unemployment, facing financial hardships, just facing loneliness and isolation, and so many things that we can be going through right now. And we know that we haven't heard from every one of you, but we have heard from some who are struggling. So we just have been covering you all in prayer. We don't want you to feel like you are alone in your suffering. We want to acknowledge that this is a difficult time for many of us. This is a difficult time for so many people, and we want to acknowledge that in our despair and in our distress that we can turn to the Lord. I know that when I am overwhelmed, many times I turn to the book of Psalm. Out of the 150 Psalms in the book, 67 of them are devoted to lament. 67 of those books are devoted to those raw emotions, the fear, the anxiety, the despair, feeling abandoned, things that I'm sure that many of us can relate to right now. So I just want to turn your eyes to looking at the book of Psalm as a resource for us, that in our times when we're suffering, in our times when we feel overwhelmed, that the Lord gives us words that helps us to turn our eyes from those emotions to a place of faith, putting our emotions into the hands of the Lord and surrendering the negative things and learning to seek God as our place of refuge. One of my favorite Psalms that I committed to memory years ago is Psalm 121, and it reads, "I lift my eyes up into the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from you, maker of heaven, creator of the earth." So I just encourage you to just look to the Psalms as you're going through some of these hardships and see how the Lord ministers to your heart through them. The psalm that I want to focus on today comes from Psalm 61. It says, "Hear my cry, O God, listen to my prayer. From the ends of the earth I call you. I call as my heart grows faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the foe. I long to dwell in your tent forever and take refuge in the shelter of your wings." Isn't that just such a beautiful illustration of what it means to come into the refuge of the Lord? The part that stuck out to me and that has been resonating within my mind has been the part where it says, "Lead me to the rock that is higher than I." It gives me the sense of the rock that is solid, a rock that is firm and secure, and higher than I. That can be positional, that can be status, that can be so many things. But in this case, I feel like a lot of times when we take a position that is higher, whether it is taking perspective that is higher, when we go up on a perch, we are able to see a bigger, clearer picture. And so I encourage you that as we go to the Lord, that we would seek his higher ground, the rock that is higher than I, so that we can get a fuller perspective of the big picture. That as we go and take that perspective, we are able to see beyond the minor details that are overwhelming for us, those minor details that hang us up, but that we're able to see that God has a bigger picture in mind that he wants us to grasp and see that this too shall pass, that all these things that we are enduring right now, that they will pass, and that the Lord will be with us and walk with us faithfully through it. So I just pray for you that as we go through these next challenging weeks, they are going to be challenging. There are going to be difficulties we face. but we face them with trust. We face them with the assurance that as we turn to the Lord and as we seek Him as our refuge, that He's going to tuck us under His wings, and that He's going to protect us, and that He's going to comfort us and be our source of encouragement. So God bless you, God be with you, God keep you, and until next time, we love you and we are covering you in prayer. God bless.